live from there. Moloko, you've been there for some time this morning. That meeting started at around 11 o'clock. What do we know to be on the agenda?
Well, firstly, Marcel, I need to indicate that indeed there is a rapid response team that's been appointed by the ANC's National Working Committee to look into the so-called hotspots that they have identified in many parts of the country. Of course, the Northwest, the problem child of the ANC, is also part of those areas. The Deputy President of the ANC, David Mabuza, indeed is leading that particular rapid response team. However, in terms of the information that I have, Mabuza would be going to the Eastern Cape together with other members of the National Executive Committee who are part of this team. And Northwest, the ANC has deployed Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, the ANC's Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte, as well as Zdumo Dlamini, also member of the National Executive Committee. So today, the members of this rapid task team are meeting with members of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC in Northwest that was reinstated by the South Gauteng High Court last week. But also in the meeting, there would be members of the Provincial Task Team who were appointed by the National Executive Committee of the ANC last year in Northwest. Remember that when the court said it would reinstate, when it reinstated the PEC, it said that the decision of the NEC to disband the PEC that was led by Supra Mahumapelo, that decision was unlawful and it was set aside, and it then nullified the decision to appoint that PTT. So I am not able to confirm if indeed David Mabuza, the Deputy President, is part of this meeting today. But I can confirm that Ace Magashule, who is the Secretary General, we saw his car going into this building a short while ago.
Now, we're just a few short months away from the general election. Indeed, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the date during his State of the Nation address. It can't be an encouraging thing for the ANC that the leadership of an important province like the Northwest, and indeed some other hotspots, as you mentioned, is still in the air as they head into a very, very important part of a key campaign for the party's future.
Indeed, I mean, the Northwest province, of course, we saw that leading to the ANC's national conference in Nasrec, there were divisions because conferences by their very own nature are divisive in a sense that people would proclaim or announce who they support. And going into Nasrec, we saw that playing out. But it would appear if the decision of the NEC to disband the PEC in Northwest is anything to go by, it would appear that divisions were deeply entrenched. Of course, the High Court seemingly did not buy that story, hence the reinstatement of the PEC. But if you look at the process, for instance, during when that province had to hold the list conference wherein the names of the candidates who will be representing the ANC if it wins the elections both in Parliament but also in the provincial legislature, that process was postponed several times. At some point there were incidents of violence. We saw even delegates turning against one another. Now, eventually that provincial list conference was held, despite the fact that it was meant to be a one-day event. It ended up taking place over 3 days. And Supra Mahumapelo, I think he was in position 26, which means that there is no guarantee that he would be returning to the legislature. Now that the court has said that the PTT is disbanded, I was just going through that written court judgment. It is not indicating whether the decisions that were taken by the PTT, because it was presiding over that process to compile a list. We don't know whether that list will now be unlawful or invalid. Of course, we know that this meeting is going to, it is happening. In fact, we were hoping that they will talk to us now. We were informed that they will not be able to speak to us even after this meeting immediately, because they must then go and brief the National Working Committee, and that is a process that will take days, if not weeks.
Indeed, we're going to leave it there for now. NCA's Moloko Moloto keeping a very, very close eye on the comings and goings there at Luthuli House.